Our next topic is going to be the consumption-based model with cloud pricing options and what's called serverless computing. So let's take a look at that. The consumption-based model is a model where you do not pay for anything until you start using the resources, and you only pay for what you use. Now, if you stop using that resource, you stop paying for it. It's what's called an operations expense, or OpEx, an important part of this AZ-900 certification prep course. There are 3 ways to pay for your Azure resources. Let's take a look at those. The first one is going to be pay as you go. Microsoft offers this option where you can go ahead and pay for each of your different resources on a monthly basis or annual basis as you need them. As soon as you stop using them, then you no longer have to pay for them. Now, one way you can save a lot of money is what's called a spot instance. Azure lets you buy unused computing power at a discount of up to 90% off, which is fantastic. However, these spot instances can be interrupted on short notice. So let me give you an example. Let's say you are logged into an Azure data center using a highly discounted spot instance. Well, what happens is if all of a sudden Microsoft has a surge in use by paying organizations that are on the pay-as-you-go plan, which is the premium way to go, then your spot instance is going to be cut off from those resources. So you don't want to use it for anything production-wise. You just want to use it if you have to test something out where it's okay if it suddenly shuts down. Another thing is called a reserve instance. Now, I really like this because it allows you to save up to 72% off compared to pay-as-you-go models. However, you have to reserve 2 years, 3 years, however long it is that resource is allowed to be reserved, and then you can save that money. So Microsoft is saying that if you're going to guarantee us a certain amount of money, we're going to guarantee you this discount. Now, you don't have to worry about your service being cut off like you do with Spot Instance, because this is information you are reserving and you are contracted to be able to have that bandwidth available. Let's take a look at something called serverless computing. There's no visible server to the client. This is a cloud model where the cloud provider manages the infrastructure and allows you to focus on creating the code and pay only for what you use and not for any idle servers. Now, despite the name, there's still a server involved, but you have no way of logging into it. It's invisible to you, and you don't have to configure, scale, or maintain those servers. It is truly software as a service with no back end that you need to even manage. It's called serverless computing, but as I mentioned, there are servers, so don't get that confused when you're taking your AZ-900 exam. What about types of resources that can be used for serverless computing? Well, you can use Azure Functions, that's an important one, container applications, Azure SQL, AI Foundry, Cosmos Database, and Databricks, and finally, machine learning. These are all types of resources that you can reserve without ever having to log into the server. You simply go to the Azure portal and you go ahead and start using that resource after you've gone ahead and licensed it and applied it to a particular user or tenant. A tenant is a group of users that are all in the same organization and under the same subscription. And I'm going to show you how to create a subscription in an upcoming video. I'm back in the Azure portal, and here you can see, once again, all the different types of services and resources that you can use. But of course, you have to go back to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center to license a lot of these resources. So for instance, on the left-hand side, you're going to see something called Marketplace. Now, in some cases, you're just going to see another option called Purchase Services. They both do exactly the same thing. For some reason, in the Microsoft Azure and Microsoft 365 world, they haven't completely decided on which way they're going to go. So sometimes you'll see one, sometimes you'll see the other. So in my case, I see what's called the Marketplace. So I go to where it says All Products. Now I can go ahead and search for any product that I'd like, but there are some recommended products that are already in the list. And what I like about this is, for instance, we see Visio, which is one of the Microsoft Office applications. It tells you how much it's going to cost you. Now, in this case, you're seeing the cost per month. In other cases, you'll see the cost per year. So be very careful when you choose your plan, because sometimes they're going to be annual fees, you're going to be billed up front, and some are going to be month-to-month licenses. And if I click on the details for Visio Plan 2, for instance, then it's going to show me the cost and give me the ability to purchase it. But it's also going to give me a comparison. So take a look. Visio Plan 2 is $15 a month. Visio Plan 1 is $5 a month. But you can go ahead and see the difference on what's included in those plans. Sometimes you have to expand the different arrows to see everything, but you'll be able to see all the different included apps and features with each one, so you can decide which way is better to go. Now you can also choose the free trial. The first time you use any product, you'll get a 30-day trial. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that. And if I like it, I can go ahead and purchase the service by choosing the purchase option at the end of the month. And you'll be reminded to do that through email. So it's going to give me 25 licenses. I'll choose Try Now. And then once it's approved, I'll be able to go into my users in the 365 Admin Center and apply it to that user. Then I'll be able to download the software and go ahead and use it. I'm simply just going to go ahead and get this license and apply it to the user in this video so you'll understand how it works. So I'll go to Assign Users, and now I'm going to go to Users and Active Users. Now this is a different tenant than what was shown in a previous video. So you see a lot more users here, which is fine. I'll go ahead and select Al, for instance. And when I select Al, I'm going to go to where it says Licenses and Apps. Now look at all the different licenses that I've already purchased or on a trial version, such as you see with Visio Plan 2, that I can apply to this user. I've already applied my Office 365 E3 license, which means that I have email for this user. I can also check these other boxes, such as Visio Plan 2, and then all I've got to do is to assign that to that user and save it. My changes have been saved. Now I can close that. And now Al can go ahead and download Visio from Microsoft and license it using this Visio license that I just assigned to Al. And you can do that with so many different types of licenses from the marketplace. Simply type in what type of license you'd like in this search box, and then you'll be able to go ahead and purchase or use the trial and assign it to the user as you just saw. Multiple objectives were covered in this video and are going to be very valuable for passing your AZ-900. Don't forget to take notes so you have that ability to recall that information when needed.